Hey, what's up, good people? It's Jay Ray, the co host of Q Points, and I wanted to come to you because there are two really important ways that you can support our show. One is by subscribing to it wherever you listen to or watch your podcasts. Q Points is pretty much everywhere. The other thing that you can do is you can visit us on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, and on Podchaser, and you can leave us a star rating. Please rate us 5 stars because you know you love Q Points. And on Apple Podcasts and on Podchaser, you can actually leave us a written review. It's not required, but it really does help to spread the word about the show, and it helps people to discover it as they're looking for new podcasts to listen to. We're always appreciative of you supporting Q Points. We thank you so much for all that you've done for us so far, and enjoy the show.
Hey everyone, it's Jay Ray. Podcasting is not just a passion for me and DJ Sir Daniel. It's a way for us to educate and inspire. There are a number of podcasts doing that for children, and one of them is What's Poppin' Penny, a podcast created and written by Toni Kennedy and voted 2023's best podcast for children 3 and up and families by Common Sense Media. Penny is a preschooler who discovers that an ancestral poem holds the key to unlocking the magical secrets of a teddy bear passed down from her grandpa, which is filled with her family's history. Tune in to the upcoming 2024 Juneteenth What's Poppin' Penny special. The show will feature guest star Miss Betty Reed Soskin. Miss Betty was a well-known songwriter in the civil rights movement. She became the oldest national park ranger at the age of 85, and among her many honors and awards, President Barack Obama presented her with a presidential commemorative coin at the National Christmas Tree Lighting Ceremony in 2015. Subscribe to What's Poppin' Penny wherever you listen to your podcasts, and be sure to share the show with young people. They will be sure to have a good time. Peace.
Hey, what's up, everyone? We are so excited for this special episode of Q Points to welcome Toni Kennedy to the show. Hey, Toni, how are you?
Toni, longtime fan, turning into a friend.
Yes. First of all, before we get started with the questions, I want to say thank you for you supporting Q Points. We are honored. We love What's Poppin' Penny over here, and we're so grateful that you thought of us to help you spread the word about your show, and we really, really appreciate it. So just thank you for the support.
Oh my goodness, it's my pleasure. Like, as I've been listening to your show long before, like, I met you, and so I was a little fan struck when I first met you, and you're so down to earth and you're so inviting, and the relationship developed just so naturally. You're so warm, and I always like to put my money where my mouth is, right? And so supporting you helps to just support me, and it just makes all the difference in the world for me.
Thank you. Thank you. So Toni, in preparation for our conversation, so we're of course going to talk about What's Poppin' Penny because you have some really cool things upcoming that we want to talk about. It is Juneteenth, and we want to talk about that. But before we go there, so I was getting ready for this interview, and I realized that, Toni, you have this very interesting history. Well, first of all, you're an educator and have been doing that for many years. And you have been using your gift of song and puppeteering to aid children in learning for a really long time. So let's go back. Before What's Poppin' Penny, some young people may remember you as Miss Toni and have heard your music. So talk to us a bit about you and the use of music for education. How did all of that start for you?
I think it started when I was a little girl because I grew up the youngest of 9 and nobody in my family had the same musical taste. So my brother loved the Doobie Brothers and my sisters loved Aretha Franklin and one sister loved Betty White. Like all those lessons in that music when you're just a little teacup listening to all of these things, and they were quite literal to me. Lyrics are quite literal, like, to me. And so, it's your thing, do what you wanna do. My little thing was, "Oh, I want a popsicle at breakfast. It's gonna do what I wanna do." Of course, I get
That's
my
what the
little
lyrics said.
yeah. I'm like, I'm just following instructions. Um, and I just gravitated to the happiness, the joy, even within the sadness, the expression. There's nothing like music. There is nothing like a lyricist. There is like nothing like it to make you feel seen as a human being. And I think that must have been in my subconscious because whenever I am with children, that's my go-to. Everything's a song. Everything is a song. Had a little boy, Tristan. He would cry every morning at the door to come into my classroom. And I tried everything, and his mother tried everything. And one day I just looked past Tristan at the kid behind him, and I said, "Who's that walking through the classroom door like she did the day before? It's Aubrey. It's Aubrey. Good morning, Aubrey." And I'm like, "Break it down, Aubrey." And she broke it down and she came into my class. And I did every time. And then Tristan was like, "Wait, no, it's my turn. You
Right.
can't say,
I want a song.
oh." Like, okay, you ready? Come in. Like, I'm like, okay, here we go. Who's that walking through the class? And by now, the parents are singing it, the kids are singing it, and it became our routine every morning. But you can't be sad when you're dancing, and you can't be sad when you're singing. There's
Mm.
hope. There is hope in music. At least that's how I view it or how it hits me.
Yeah.
I think that's how it hits kids, takes all the scary stuff away.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's also, a community builder.
Hmm.
We're all singing the same song.
Yeah.
We're all breaking it down together. And so him leaving his mom coming into the classroom was such an individual act for him that he wasn't quite sure he was brave enough to do until we set it to music.
Wow. Um, when you take that idea and put it to Little Chick, which I was so grateful. We'll include the YouTube video as well, watching you interact with Little Chick. How did that concept of Little Chick come to be?
Well, I'm an old head. So, dudes and chicks,
Yes.
that's what I grew up on, right? So I was little chick in my family
Yeah.
and with their friends. "You gonna bring the little chick with you?"
Yeah.
"Sure."
Yeah.
"Okay." So, as a preschool teacher, I've taught in a lot of different environments, but most of the environments were, um, mon they were monolithic in what's the word I'm looking for, Johnny? Um, there wasn't a lot of diversity,
Yes. 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 Understood. Mm-hmm.
and my knowledge, my wisdom through my lifetime is that we grow up in I let's see, I grew up in St. Petersburg, Florida to a degree. And in St. Petersburg, integration came in 1972. So I was in second grade the first time I walked into a classroom with people who were outside of my race, right? And my mom gave me a rock and put in my lunchbox.
Just in case you needed it. Get it, mom.
It's just clanging around in my living room. I think my sister must have thought, "Well, that's a very small thermos just clanging around." But every morning she'd give me a rock.
Wow.
So, and funny enough, when we moved back down to Florida, my daughter was in, I think, 5th grade.
Mhm.
And my mom walked her to the bus stop and she came home and she said, Grandma gave me a rock.
You like, okay, did you need it? Did you need the rock?
The tradition lived on generational. I feel like I got to give my grandkids rocks.
Right. Has that ended up in a Penny story yet? Does Penny like is
It's not.
oh MG.
But going back to your question, putting the rock aside, um, we don't normally kids don't we come together in integration, but the older you get, the more separated we become.
Absolutely. Yes.
Right? By high school, you got the AP program, you
Mhm.
got the theater kids, you got a lot of stuff going on where a person of color notices that there's less and less and less and less of us unless you're in the athletic realm, right?
Yeah, right.
And then the next time you meet each other, you're on a job.
Absolutely.
Typically, on that job, the way it works in our society, chances are your boss is not going to, if you're black and brown, your boss is not going to look like you.
Yes.
So I get them when they're real young.
So here comes little chick.
It's their first peer of
Yeah.
color. It's their first little black girl friend.
Yeah.
She is nervous because she doesn't know if she can get through the preschool day. What if the teacher asks me something I don't know? What if I don't make friends? So in my show, it's less than 30 minutes. It's a musical. It's also very interactive with games. But the crux of it is they are the proxy. I have made them the expert. The kids the expert.
So they learn that they hold power and they can help others.
Yes, specifically the reason I think Little Chick is so powerful for them is because it's their first introduction to a vulnerable black girl and their empathy for her. It is triggered. I'm triggering their empathy that hopefully will last forever and we can pretty much get rid of the strong black
Yes.
woman because starting with the babies, they understand people are vulnerable. And when they are, if we have the power, let us help them along.
And have a good song to go along with it.
Oh, yeah.
Mm,
And the teachers love it because it's all I have a CD out, and it's 18 songs that follows a NACE accredited preschool day. And there's even a potty song and a
awesome.
next time there's even a wake up song. But the potty song is the only song that's directed to adults, and it's called Just Be Patient.
Mm,
The rest of it is through the lens of the preschool teacher or the child.
mm. That idea of the trusted adult. So I wanna segue us into what's poppin' Penny because I remember when I first heard the show, and of course hearing TA, I did not connect the TA until I talked to you and you were like, no, it's TA. Cause I think I said something else. So you were like, oh, actually it's TA and TA stands for trusted adults. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. Penny has this trusted adult to help her along the way and go on these adventures. But I want to talk about the show a bit. Um, how did that evolved, that story, the idea for the show, and to make it a podcast, right? So you go from this in-person experience with a puppet named Little Chick, and now and music, and this evolves into, something different and new. How did that come to be?
I was minding my business in my house when my daughter came to me with an application for Spotify's Sound Up program. And she said, Mom, this is saying everything except, hey, Toni. The program was looking for children's writers, right? And it didn't matter what your, as a matter of fact, they were encouraging people of color. They were encouraging queer people. They were encouraging old heads like me. They were like, there were no boundaries to walking through that door. And I have been writing TV scripts and everything. You can imagine, I've even written a play just for children and their families, right? And she said, you should apply. So she sat down with me because I wouldn't do it. And she opened up the computer and we sat down and we started the application. And once we started the application, it was such an in-depth application too. Um, it just started to flow. My fear went away. When you thinking about doing it is the scariest part. When you're
Right.
doing, you got this.
Yeah.
So, I applied, with the idea actually of, they needed 2 ideas, and the one I was really focused on was Down on the Farm with Nori, and it was an ABC 1, 2, 3 colors kind of show, right? And then they asked for a second show, and it was like, looked around my house, we're a multi-generational family. I've got a little girl with brown skin and curly hair, and I just started to write about Penny and her family. And when, we went through the rounds of interviews out of thousands, we were down to 10 that got accepted, and I was one of the 10. And when we got in, we met people, like, they brought in people to, mentor us and talk to us, like, Pierce Freelon and, Kemp Powers, like, Princess from Mali of Denali, like, all of these people who are just Jasmine Rodriguez from Sesame Street, all of these people were there to with I the way I put it is to with their bumpers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Us in line of what's best, what's gonna be fun and funny, and what's gonna be great for the kids, right? Um, I used to say, Johnny, a long time ago, as I would write, I would say, "I wanna write a show for adults hidden in a kid show."
Yeah.
And people would say, "Well, that's not good. That's who would watch that?" Not realizing whatever your child is watching, you are watching.
And need to be watching. Cause
Yeah.
I'm always looking over my cousins and like, what's this? Tell me about this. I want to hear it. Take them headphones off.
You know?
Right.
So it's, like, beneficial to make programming that adults will enjoy as well, because, when it's down to 2 choices, "Okay, so what do you wanna watch?" "I wanna watch that talking frog that screams all the time." "Okay, I can't take him right now. Can we watch that?"
Right. Yes.
Okay, so that's always been how I think through being a preschool teacher, I learned kids, they don't come all by themselves.
Right.
They have a whole family
Yeah.
that comes with them, and if you're not nurturing the adult, you're not nurturing the child.
Yes.
So my parent and listen to me, my parents, a part of my focus of how are you doing as much as the child is, if not even more so.
You definitely feel that when listening to What's Poppin' Penny. You definitely feel that as an adult, you can enjoy these adventures as much as the kids do. And it helps to be able to, it was easy for me to share the show. I'm like, oh my God, like, play this in the car. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you need something else for them to play, play this instead, right? Um, so if you can, tell us a bit about Penny and Penny's family. Um, and who inspired, so we know your granddaughter inspired Penny. Like,
Mhm.
how did all these other characters come to be?
Um, when she was born, my daughter lived in Brooklyn, right? Brownstone Buddy. And her boyfriend, her partner, they didn't live together. They chose not to live together, right? But he would come over and be there all the time. And every time he would walk in, he would say, and to me, he has a voice that's a cross between Tone Loc and the Kool-Aid Man.
Yeah. So it's it's kind of gravelly and you know,
Yeah.
right.
And he would walk in and he would say, "What's poppin', little baby?" Like that, right? And one side of my brain was like, that is not how the father converses with the child. The father must be, you know. But the other side of my brain was, that is the warmest, most loving thing I have ever heard. He says it every time he walk in. He wouldn't say hi, ma. He wouldn't say hi to my daughter. He'd be like, "What's poppin', little baby?" And then he'd scoop her up. And it was just like, one day I asked him, because I was honestly, Johnny, I was in conflict, and I finally asked him, "What does what's poppin' mean?"
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, "It means what's up? How you doing? What's going on?" And it was like, that is the most beautiful thing I have ever felt,
Yeah.
where this guy comes in and he scoops up that little baby and he, first thing, "How you doing?"
Right. Yes.
And it stuck with me. And apparently, when I started writing Penny, Penny is obviously my granddaughter. The loving relationship that I first saw with her and her dad is the foundation of the relationship with Penny and her dad. I have a really great friend who voices Jabari, Stephen A. Hart. Stephen is the king of dad jokes. And honestly, Jabari is Steven.
Yeah.
And I've told him this before. I'm like, don't sue me. I ain't got no money. Um, but he is Steven. Steven is that dad. And Zoe is my daughter. She's the artist, multi-talented artist, and the mom trying to, in the thick of raising a child and interacting with her parents, she's in that in between stage, right? She's not the caregiver of her parents quite yet,
Yeah.
but there is some responsibility there. So Zoe is like your age, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then TA is actually my brother Joe. I'm the youngest of nine. And the age difference is, when I was born, my brother was 22, 23 years old. And he was my trusted adult. He was the person who always just made sure I was okay. I could say anything, specifically, "What's wrong with my belly button?" And like, instead of getting, "Leave that thing alone, girl, stop before you break it," He'd say, "There's nothing wrong with your belly button." And he explained innies and outies to me, and that mine was perfect. Like, no matter what it was, he was my trusted adult. And I'd already had some experiences where I didn't have trusted adults, right? That lineation, right?
Yeah.
Um, Reading what I'm writing and telling others, or um, telling my teacher something I said in confidence at home. And then my teacher's like, "I heard you talking trash about me." And I'm like, oh my, like that feeling of devastation. when your trust has been betrayed.
Right. How dare you tell her?
That to the for me, the crux of parenting is you're stair stepping, build, building trust.
Mhm.
So by the time you say to that person, no, you shouldn't wear those shoes. We're going to be walking for a very long time. And they're like, but these are my favorites and I want to wear them. Like, well, they're not going to get you very far.
Right.
That they trust that you're just not trying to bring them down,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
Parenting is an action, and that action, for a long time, every single interaction is just a trust building exercise.
Yes. Oh my goodness. All the parents need to hear what you're saying because you're dropping so many gems for parents in this. And to that point, you within the show, of course, this is a multi-generational household because Penny is living in a house or in a brownstone and her grandmom is there. And then recently her grandfather has passed away, but there's something magical that happens.
Yeah.
And we're not spoiling anything because it's part of the show. But talk to us a bit about the role of the grandparents in this show.
The role of the grandparents, like I said, TA is my oldest brother.
Mhm.
Spicy, Penny calls her grandma Spicy because she's sugar and spice and everything nice. And a long time ago, my daughter asked me, "What do you want your grandma name to be?" This is before she even had children. And we went through a lot of names. And then she said, "But you're so sweet. Those don't actually fit you. You're sugar and you're spice." And I said, "Then call me Spicy. I'll be Spicy.
So you're spicy.
I am spicy to my grandkids." And I love it.
Yeah.
Um, so Spicy is my sister Terry.
Mhm.
Terry was 8 years older than me. She died a few years of ALS, and my stories around Penny actually are about my sister Terry. She made my childhood magical. Like Terry could make walking in the rain a magical event,
Yeah.
right? And Spicy and TA, those are those are my happy places in me, right? That I
Mhm.
get to bring and share with other people. But like you said, TA has passed away. So what happens to love when your loved one goes? And that was something that as a preschool teacher, as a parent, I've had to explain many, many, many times to children. And the show, that's the foundation. Love is the foundation of this show. So, love in all of its forms, its familiar form, as well as those who are here and those who have parted, and how that love never, ever, ever leaves you. And I know that I am nothing without my mother, without my grandmother, without my great grandfather. That's how far I can go back with people, right? But I also know that my children they're nothing without me.
Mhm.
And my grandchildren are nothing without me.
Mhm.
And so all of these people, no matter I'm talking to my grandkids today through the voice of my grandmother.
Yeah.
And that is true, I think, for many of us,
Mm.
especially in our culture.
Yes. It's interesting that you bring that up. In 2021, actually at the beginning of Q Points, my dad passed away. I had been taking care of him, but it was sudden passing. Like I didn't expect him to pass away when he did, right? But it's so interesting now that I find myself feeling like him. Like something will come out and I'm like, oh my. I've heard that, or I sound just like dad saying this thing. And that is special. Or I hear my grandmother. So in 2020, myself, my mom, my brother, my cousins, we um, supported my grandmother through her transition, which is something that none of us expected to do, but it's one of the most special things I think we could do. And I hear her, and I hear her come out
Mhm.
often. And so you're absolutely right. I think, culturally, these lessons that, or these words and these lessons that have come in, we embody them, and then they show up, and it reminds us that those people are still here, and
Mhm.
therefore everything's okay.
Mhm.
I love that about our culture, about our experience here, is that I have all of these ancestors that are just like in the room. He in here, my grandma in here, part of this conversation. So that
Yeah.
you feel it, it explains why the show feels the way it does, Tony.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Johnny.
DJ Sir Daniel, my Walkman was my life. The other little boys would be playing basketball while I was over there fiddling with my cassettes.
You were fancy because I had a small radio with a cassette player, and I would stay up every weekend until 2 a.m. to listen to Mr. Magic and Cool DJ Red Alert and record their shows. I wish I still had those cassettes.
Man, classics. Me too. So in the summertime, I would flip between BET and MTV all day long and record music videos on those big VHS tapes.
Videos changed everything. I would catch the number 4 Express because it would get me home quicker to watch Video Music Box. And on Fridays, Uncle Ralph only played hip hop videos, so you know it was on.
Yo, I wish we had Video Music Box here, but listen, music, culture, and history from a Black perspective. Q Points is all about the music that shaped our lives.
And if this is music to your ears, check out Q Points wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Yo, did you have a beeper growing up?
Did I?
Okay, there's What's Poppin' Penny, there's all of the characters, but okay, so one of the most amazing things about What's Poppin' Penny, though, is your theme song. The What's Poppin' Penny theme song, this is a music podcast, and the What's Poppin' Penny theme song is jamming. So talk about that song and all of that. So your daughter is singing on the song. Tell us
Yeah.
all about the song.
My daughter is a professional singer. There's a reason my audience is children, right? They're not as harsh. They haven't developed musical taste yet. So you, my music is definitely for children, right? And so, but my daughter has actual talent, and she is singing with Mac Miller. She is she's been all around the world. She's been a singer and doing her thing since high school, right?
Yeah.
Um, so, but I am the writer.
Yes.
And when I came up with this, I'm a little bit special, Johnny. I say things, I'm using words right now, but I'm filtering them through my brain of it feels sparkly. It has to feel like the color yellow. It has
So you have that. I see everything like a film. So literally everything you're saying is literally there's a movie happening in my head right now, Tony.
and it's an episode of My Little Pony in my head, right?
We see each other.
So I contacted Lucas Morales. He's a composer and he's been musical director for a great many people. And I contacted him through a friend of a friend. No, just through a friend. And this is the email I sent to Lucas. Hold on, strap in, buckle up. Okay. So I tell him my podcast is for children 3 to 5 years old, and I tell him about the show. And so I tell him that the theme song lyrics and inspirations, opening, R&B 90s girl group, in vogue, style harmonies, a cappella. And this is me singing to Lucas, right, on the phone. What's poppin', Penny? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like,
And Lucas is like, sure.
yeah. Well, I tell him that the music begins with the bass, congas, West African style rhythm, like a train chugging toward a rhythm forward. And then the words come in. And then I take it to the bridge and I literally wrote break it down with an exclamation point.
First of all, you said take it to the bridge and
Yeah.
then break it down, exclamation point. This is why you win, Toni. You wrote that in an email to be like, here's what this production is going to give.
This is all that it needs to give, okay? And then I tell him, where is the thing? Oh, then I write a rap.
Yes, as you should. Why not? You got bars.
And the rap is,
Please tell us.
I have tears in my eyes. The rap is, big city streets aren't for house cats, Penny. I think I'll stay right here and take a nap. No rhymes. No stanza.
But it explains Penelope Paul so perfectly. Penelope Paul is a character in the show. Y'all need to be listening to the podcast.
Stevie Wonder. I'm like, it's a hot mess. So the fact that Lucas took all of this in, and then my daughter kicked me out, and she and he went in, and they actually kept the good parts. I'll put quotations around that. They kept the good parts, and they came out very patiently and explained to me why I couldn't have what I said I wanted. And this is what they gave me. And it was like, this is exactly how I heard it in my head.
You like, this is perfect. This is all of it. Okay, we need to let the people know. Y'all can go to Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube Music, and first of all, go to Apple Music and buy it. How about that? Go to Amazon and buy it. How about that? Or you can stream it everywhere. Go stream the What's Poppin' Penny theme. It's a jam.
It is a jam. And what is funny about this, I have to tell you, when I wrote the lyrics during the Spotify Sound Up program, and so we were getting feedback from a ton of different people, right? And I got feedback that the lyrics, which are literally, she's a little girl with brown skin and curly hair, living life without a care, right? And the feedback I got from one person anonymously was, is that something we need in the theme song? Can't we learn that about her in the show? And my reaction was, if that is too much for you to handle straight out the gate, you are not my audience. And you will not tell this little girl to shut up, sit down. Because this song, the whole lyrics, she's a little girl with brown skin and curly hair. Okay, she talking to me, right? Living life without a care.
Yes.
For some people, that is going to resonate as true.
Yes.
For other people, for other parents, that is going to resonate as an aspiration. This song is inspirational and it's aspirational, because we do sometimes raise our little brown girls to be strong, right? Which comes along with a lot of discounting of their feelings, their temperaments, their curiosity.
Yes.
Right? All of those childhood things of being a child. And for some people, they're going to hear living life without a care and pause and think, I want that for my child.
Yes. Oh, It's inspirational and it's aspirational. Mm. I love that so much. You also have a Juneteenth episode of What's Poppin' Penny coming on Juneteenth, on June 19th. Tell us a bit about that episode.
That episode is epic. It is epic. When I tell you epic, it followed Penn. Oh my God. I just,
You like, oh, I see you. You like, there's so many things to say about it.
it is. I'm so excited because it's full of history,
Mhm,
right? It's
mhm,
full of history. And it's history. I'm from Florida.
mhm.
So they burning books, banning books, you know,
Absolutely.
all of
Your
it.
podcast is standing in the gap.
Yes.
Mhm,
Yes. So in the Juneteenth episode, the family goes from big city down to the farm where TA was born. Grandpa TA was born for the family reunion. And it is just off the hook with music.
mhm.
Lucas did like a cha-cha slide for me of what's Penny Cha-Cha. Because at the family reunion, we gotta get
There's got to be a
down.
line dance. There's got to be something.
There's so much music in this show, and that's incredible. That's one reason to tune in. But the other is with my little slick self. They're driving through the country,
Yeah.
right? And Penny asks if they're lost, and Spicy says, "Oh no, honey, you see that river over there? That's where the Clotilda went down." Now, for a lot of people, that's gonna go, phew.
Mhm,
And for some people, they're gonna be like, "Did she just say the Clotilda?"
mhm, mhm, mhm.
Dropping history all up in this thing for my baby to understand.
Oh,
And yes, I am. And it's followed by a cat joke. Uh,
I love this. Oh my God. So there are different characters. So Miss Betty Reed Soskin is going to be a
oh
guest
yeah.
star. What is the role
She
Miss Betty is playing in this
she is
episode?
playing Penny's great Aunt Jessie.
Mhm,
And Aunt Jessie is the family storyteller. She's the history keeper of the family.
mhm.
And this is the first time that Penny learns, we all learn, where did the magic come from? Like, she's had this magical teddy bear since day one, all through episode 10. But where did the magic come from? And Miss Betty takes us back. Her voice as she tells Penny, and the magic starts to happen. Her voice transforms from the 102-year-old Aunt Jessie to her granddaughter played her.
Oh
Her
wow. So you have her and
grand
her.
Yes,
Oh.
yes. So they become one. And so the young Aunt Jessie, right? Because it's all magical.
Yeah.
She explains how the family story starts in Ghana, in West Africa, right? So, because for many of us, that's where our roots
Yeah.
start.
Uh-huh.
In America, that's where our roots started. But we know so little about it.
Mhm.
Or anyway, so Betty then transformed that transforms. I reached out. This is not true. This is true. Christabel she was one of the high executives as a part of Spotify.
Mhm,
And one of the nice things about Spotify and being in that program was that many of the people still reach out. How are you? I
mhm.
see you doing your thing. How are you? How can we help? Right? Out of the blue, Christabel, who is from West Africa, and Johnny, I have been trying to cast this role
Right.
forever, like forever. And one thing or another, I'll have it cast, they'll drop out, all of it. So she reached out and asked, How can I help? How are you doing? And I was like, I need someone who can speak Twi or Fanti.
Mhm.
And she was like, girl, I got you.
Ah, I it all came together. Like you being in the program, it was all meant to be.
It was, if you only knew how hard it was for me and how important it was for me to cast a person who speaks a language from West Africa that children can hear and always be readily available to them. How important that was. And the fact that it was not happening was crushing my soul. And this lady came and she gave me a woman in her 70s, maybe 80s, because you know, Black don't crack.
Mhm.
And she spoke the words of encouragement and tell the story of how this little bear came to be for the for this little child, right? And then she says it in Fanti, and then she interprets it into English, right? So
Oh my god. Oh my god. I haven't heard the episode, y'all. I cannot wait to hear this.
it is powerful. It is powerful. My sister asked me, no, she said, well, that sounds really nice. And I said, yeah, but that's not what I was going for. I was going for importance.
And that's why we over here at Q Point, Sir Daniel and I are so grateful. Like I said, we're grateful for you. We're also grateful to just support What's Poppin' Penny because we feel like kids need to hear this. Adults need to hear this show. They need to hear it so that they can share it with children. And I think it helps to build that bridge, right? Let's listen to What's Poppin' Penny together. So even if me as an adult, I don't have children, but I have like cousins and I have like folks around me that I could share this show with. And so it builds a bridge. And so the show, so the special will be out on Juneteenth, right? So people can tune in on Juneteenth. Listen to this on your way to whatever it is that you're doing on Juneteenth. Play it in the morning as you're getting up and getting breakfast going. What's Poppin' Penny should be one of the things that starts your day. That's my 2 cents around this. Um, Tony, before we finish up, anything else you would like to share? We'll make sure that all your contact info is part of this. But hey, What's Poppin' Penny is where folks can connect with you online. Anything else you want to leave the folks with as we head out?
I just want to thank you and DJ Sir Daniel for keeping, I don't want to say our culture alive, but keeping our knowledge of our culture so present, so pristine in our minds, in our lives. One of my favorite shows, you're always on in my house. Um, so your voice is very familiar. Um, I want to thank everybody who listened to the show. Um, yeah, that's it. I get really bashful about it. Um, but like Erica Badu, I'm
You sensitive about your stuff.
stuff. So I am so happy that it's finding a home, it's finding its way, it's finding its people. I am very, 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 very grateful for all of those things. So the thing I want to say is thank you for checking my show out. Thank you for supporting my show. And thank you for having me here to talk about it.
Oh, well, listen. We are down with What's Poppin' Penny, so make sure that all of you, and we've been saying this, but we're gonna say it again. Make sure that you follow What's Poppin' Penny wherever you listen to your podcasts. Subscribe, share the show. That's really important. Just like we tell you to do with Q Points, we encourage you to do that with What's Poppin' Penny, because it is an incredibly important show, y'all. Thank you so much, Toni Kennedy, for dropping by and having this amazing conversation with us.
Thank you for having me, Springfield.
Yeah. Have a good one, y'all. Bye.